Whoa, welcome back everybody. So doing a rough opal parcel review again. So this one's from Gary Davies. He's actually from Finland, I think, from memory. So a lot of you European guys have already come across him before, but this is my first parcel that I've got off him, and it's an interesting one. So we'll open it up and have a look, but I will say that at the end of the video we'll do another viewer vote as well, so stay tuned for that, and you guys can pick what we cut. Now this I've never seen on a parcel before, but it's been cut open by the Australian Border Force, so I don't know, they must have had some sort of reason for doing it, but I've already ripped it open here, just to save us some time. So Gary and his partner Cindy have started up this site, cutopal.com. They've got some really nice stuff. I like just looking at the pictures. He's got his photography on point. I'm not actually sure if it's Gary or Cindy that's actually done the photography. I know Cindy put together the website, so she's the brains of the operation, and Gary's the oh, that's right, he does the opal. But yeah, go check out the site, even if you're not going to buy anything. There's some interesting stuff, and his prices are actually quite reasonable. So there's a little slip in here, Australian Border Force, open for inspection. I don't know if it's legal to show the rest of it, but basically it just says nothing's been removed. It doesn't say why they opened it, but they just said they opened it and didn't take anything out. So we're off to the races. So this parcel, I say it's interesting because it's actually a jar that Gary had, and it was pretty much just stuff that he didn't... It's in the too hard to cut kind of pile. So just the jar of odds and ends, tricky cuts, carving pieces, all that kind of stuff. He's not a carver, he just chucks stuff on the wheels. And so he had a whole heap of stuff that he just wanted to get rid of, and he was getting rid of it for next to nothing, so whatever. I thought, I'm always into a challenge. It's a 6-ounce parcel, so it's quite large. And it's just got a note there saying, look carefully. I mean, there's a lot of small stuff. I want a lot of chips, so I've got an idea to do some bentwood rings. I'm really inspired by Facebook for some bentwood ring stuff. So there's a lot of chips here that I'm going to use for that. But there's also a fair few pieces with really uneven color bars that I can see. Let's have a bit of a zoom in. So there, you can see that there's some nice little crystal bits. That's what I'll keep and set aside in a bag for a lot of my bentwood rings that I want to try to get into. Oh, it's got a random bit of belemnite in there. It's a nice crystal belemnite there. Don't know why he's chucked that in this pile. I wonder if that's got anything in it. Doesn't really look like it. There are the occasional piece, so a lot of it is just, I don't know, not great quality stuff. Having a look at it, he does sell some incredible high quality stuff as well. I just wanted the he had a jar of junk, and I said why not send it this way, and I'll carve away at it, see what I can pull out. Every now and then you get a piece that shows quite a bit of potential. Oh, this one's not coming up on camera at all well, but that one's got some nice colour in it. Of course, all of these I'm going to have to fish out and set aside, so that's going to be perfect, absolutely perfect for the rings that I'm looking at making. And if I can get enough that are of the same colour, then I should be able to do some really good stuff with it. I think that's another one of those types of pieces. There's another one. There's a really good piece. Alright, it's going to be really hard for me to sift through this with the camera in front of my face, but I'll sift through and then we'll set aside a few to look into carving. So I'll be back in a sec. Alright, I've sifted through. It's a lot of rough material, so I've just gone through it fairly quickly. There's some incredible pieces. I should have made some honourable mentions, but I have picked out these 4. So number 1, the belemnite that we saw earlier. So it looks pretty clean. I mean, this is coming in a little bit further than I would like. Hopefully it's just near the top. But we might be able to trim this up. I think there'll be too much crust around the edge for me to get a beautiful piece out of, but we might have to cut it into a non-belemnite shape, which is always a bit sad. especially when it's at the tapering end, but that's alright. It's a nice crystal, blues, greens, pretty good. Now number 2. Yeah, number 2 is a fairly light piece, but look at the colour. So it's got everything. It's already been fairly rubbed back on this side here. And I guess it just wasn't what Gary was looking for, so he chucked it in his little jar. So it's got the full gambit of colours. The whole rainbow is there. Looks pretty good. Just needs a bit of a shaping and a tidy up, so pretty good rub. Number 3. Number 3 is a fairly dark piece, but look at that. It's got this nice crystal on the top. And if you get it at the right angles, you can see that it's basically pretty much a green slash a aqua kind of crystal. And all I need to do is try to get through that and hope that this bit in the center here doesn't crack all the way through or isn't an inclusion that'll pass through the color bar. But the color bar is pretty thick and has a bit of purple in there at times. It's unfortunate that this huge chip has been taken out the side here, so it'll lose quite a lot of size, but I'm seeing like a diamond ringstone kind of thing. So who knows, it's got a lot of potential, that one. And then number 4. Number 4 is really interesting. So there was a surprising amount of red in some of this material that he sent over, and this one really stood out. So it's really rough. I don't even know if he really looked at this one all that much, because if I saw this in a parcel, I wouldn't be throwing it in a jar of nothing stuff, scrap stuff. So this is huge. This could be a great red. It seems like the red kind of travels through the entire color bar on both sides. So the only side I can't see is over here, but you get a small window up here and it's full color. So this one could also be an absolute winner. So that's number 4. And I've gotten water all over my things, but that's alright. So recap: belemnite, white multicolor, blue-green crystal on dark, and that red stone, fairly rough. Could be good. Actually, all of them could be good. So yeah, that's your options. Have a vote. I'm going to be working on an Ethiopian opal in the meantime while I'm waiting for the vote to tally up. I've been in talks with an absolute expert in Ethiopian opal. He's been cutting that opal for almost as long as I've been alive. So I'm going to have a chat with him, and well, I've already had the chat with him, taken a whole heap of notes. I mean, it's like I was having a lecture at uni. I was scribbling like you wouldn't believe. And I've realised that the first time I did my Ethiopian opal, I did everything wrong. Basically did everything wrong. And he has taught me the way, and I'm going to use that. Turns out it's a lot more complicated, and there's a lot of careful steps you need to take, so I'm going to do that, and hopefully you'll see that on the channel if all goes well. You'll probably see it if it doesn't go well. But yeah, there you go. Have a vote. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll make that the next stone I cut.